Ready. Play.
So our next match we're going to be looking into is the big serving Giovanni Mpetshi Perricard versus Marione Navone. Now, here it's an interesting clash. You got Navone, who is more of a natural clay court player. I'd say maybe more of a grinder back in the day, but, he's developed a big backhand, which I think has an opportunity here to pick on the Perricard one-hander. In terms of, form, it's been solid for Navone. Picking up a few wins at all these clay court events so far this season. And for Perricard, he hasn't done that in terms of losing to Thompson 4-3 in Monte Carlo, and then you got he lost 5-6 to Medjodovic. So yet to pick up a set on the clay, but you think about the altitude here being a factor for the big serve. What are some of your thoughts going into this match, Damien?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an extreme clash of styles, which kind of makes it a little tough to predict, analyze, because I'm not really sure how it will look, also considering the conditions. I actually don't hate the chances of Mpetshi Perricard, I guess. I mean, Navone as a player, obviously, as you mentioned, very natural clay grinder, expert in baseline rallying, but also not a guy who's gonna convert every single opportunity he has off the ground. It's not really his game. And maybe you kind of need to slowly work someone like Mpetshi Perricard, out, and don't allow him to hang back into the point, basically don't allow him to stay in the points. And I don't know. I mean, with the serve, I just kind of question how Mariano is going to handle it. Maybe. Also, I understand that Giovanni has lost a few matches in a row. He's definitely just a loose cannon, and you never really know what you're going to get. Some of these losses, though, they weren't as terrible. I mean, definitely informed players. Talon Hrikspor, Hamad Medjedovic, Jordan Thompson, who just ruins him every single time. I mean, it's like Jelena Ostapenko, Iga Świątek, really. Jordan Thompson, Giovanni Mpetshi Perricard. Just less publicity. It's the same, just less publicity. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see this one, just because it's so different. I mean, the two players really couldn't be any more different, and these clashes
Especially in
I think are
size
going to be
too.
fantastic. In size as well, yeah. And to me, it seems like in these particular clay court conditions, Mpetshi Perricard has definitely a live chance. That's not to say, though, that Navone hasn't played well in Madrid last year. Obviously, should have beaten Holger Rune, so that was a great match in the second round. But yeah, this will be difficult. I'm not really sure if I've seen Navone play against opponents like this that much. I mean, they've played once in Lima, I think, 2022, and Mpetshi Perricard actually won that. And Lima is sea level, though.
Okay. Interesting, especially with the one-hander, because that's kind of been something I've been thinking about with Perricard, rally tolerance, backhand under pressure. It hasn't really held up well, kind of no matter what surface, but you think about the clay, maybe giving you a bit some more time and, a little bit of higher bouncing clay in this altitude. But I just think Navone is able to maybe pick on it a bit and, work his way through the point as patient as he is. And then you think about returning. He is very good. I mean, he's a good returner, just like you said, understands, court positioning very well. But, it'd just be interesting to see how much the monster serve kind of negates that in a sense, and kind of see how, scoreboard pressure plays its part. So, I mean, look, I know we're talking about it's difficult to predict, but what do you see happening here?
I don't know. My hunch is that Mpetshi Perricard will probably do much better than expected, but at the same time, yeah. I mean, if it starts and for the 15 minutes, we can see that everything is just played off the ground and there's no 3 points, or at least not that many 3 points coming his way. It might be one of these matches where you watch the first 15 minutes and you kind of know suddenly what is going to happen, even though pre-match you had no idea. But yeah, I guess both options are possible. You mentioned that there's more time to hit through the backhand on clay, of course, and I think that South American stint that Mpetshi Perricard had in 2022 was actually when I was already spreading that theory that like now on clay he's actually fine with it. Like he has a high bouncing ball and he just smashes through the backhand. We haven't really seen that in a while, but I guess if he can do it here, that would be a big win. Of course, he's already won an ATP Tour event on clay. So I think there are definitely like some merits to the Mpetshi Perricard backhand and clay courts, even if sometimes we might it's easy to forget about it. So yeah, that's I guess my answer. My hunch is that he's going to do a little bit better than people expect him to in this one. That we shouldn't just like treat this match as a default. Okay, Navone is good on clay, GMP is not. Thank you. Actually, it's
Right.
GMP who's already won an ATP Tour clay court title, right? Navone still hasn't done that.
Right. No, that's why I think it is a fun match. It is a fun match, especially if we do get to breaker time. That's where I've just still question marks in terms of like really what's going through the Perricard mind in those bigger moments. But as you mentioned, and as we talked about, like that high bouncing clay can really benefit him off both wings. But the backhand is still kind of the one that I guess we're just picking apart a bit and thinking more about in this matchup. So yeah, like you said, it's not a rollover just because of the surface, but I think the serve has a chance to push it 3, and then I just think some of those tighter moments, Navone is going to find a way through.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.